Bienvenido. Por favor, escoge tu vestimenta y tu arma de combate. Reúne a tu equipo. Verifica tu misión y tu medio de transporte. Prepárate para entrar a un mundo fascinante, lleno de retos, batallas, bellezas naturales y muchos misterios. Cuenta hasta 3. 1, 2, 3. ¿Estás preparado? Bienvenido al Comic Con de San Diego, California, Estados Unidos. Un lugar que reúne a millares de personas con una característica en común: la pasión.
Comic-Con 2017 Saturday, you will absolutely not be disappointed by any stretch of the imagination.
Aqui estamos, Comic-Con 2017, com todo o elenco de Westworld aqui. Aqui não é nem trabalho, é diversão.
This is like the United Nations for comic fans, you know?
I think it's so special because it is the biggest convention in the United States where everyone gets to come out together and to show their love of all of the different fandoms and their different characters, and people dress up and they wait for hours and panels, and it's just like so many people in one spot that all love the same thing.
I think it's something that's fun to inspire other people. So you get to dress up and then all the other people come around. They're like, oh, I recognize that character. They can make almost the fantasy world seem real to provide that little bit of escapism if that's what people want.
I think now, especially with everything going on in the world and everything that we hear on the news that's just heartbreaking or tragedy, I think it's nice to have something kind of like a bright, shiny spot.
In this dark world we're living in today, to have that kind of joy just erupt like that is mighty welcome.
Everyone wants to have a safe world.
We see that basically in the comics as we see it in our daily lives. And I think that people really get energy out of that. If it looks very bleak and dark, that there's someone somewhere who's bailing them out.
This is a moment of like honoring their fantasies and their stories. It's such a warm environment to like let your mind go wild and live in your chosen universe. I'm all for it, yeah.
Otra realidad no solo es posible, sino que cada vez se hace más presente. Tu héroe favorito, lo que te relaja o lo que te causa terror te esperan también en el mundo virtual.
The thing about VR right now is that it's the early days, like the early days of cinema, right? And the early days of comics and the early days of TV. So people are trying to find ways to tell the stories. Just as you see now, we have the technology to make superhero movies look realistic, where we couldn't in the past. I think VR, as it gets better, we're going to be able to create these fantastical real worlds that people can immerse themselves to.
Truly, when it's immersive, you don't want to get out of it. You don't want to leave.
I think it's the first time anything Stephen King has ever been put into virtual reality. Inside the bus, there's multiple chairs that you can see. And once you get into the chairs, there's actual virtual reality experience that takes you into the city of Derry, Maine. You get kind of taunted by Pennywise as you're going through the sewers, and then a special surprise at the end.
We all float down here.
We ended up filming with Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise, the real actor. Director Andy Muschietti was involved, and we had the real Georgie, the young kid, and the yellow rain slicker. So yeah, everything in the VR experience is real actors. We built the sets in VR based on the sets in the movie, so it really feels like you're immersed right into the world of the movie that Andy created.
At D23, we announced Marvel Powers United VR. We showed 3 characters. We had Captain Marvel, Hulk, and Rocket Raccoon. Today we have it playable on the Comic-Con floor, and we announced our 4th character, which is Deadpool. Kaboom! It's been a lot of fun. You know, it's a co-op multiplayer game. So here we have, for the first time showing it to the public, we got 4 stations set up and people are playing together in VR. So you have a full body experience and you get to feel like those heroes. If you're playing as Deadpool, you got the katanas on your back, you got the SMGs on your side, you got shurikens on your wrists. It just makes it really feel like you're a superhero.
All right, Lockjaw, get us out of here. We do a lot of visual effects for a lot of big Hollywood blockbuster movies. Just came out with Beauty and the Beast, we did Fast and Furious, a lot of big Hollywood movies.
The Monkey King is our first consumer real-time experience that we've created. We're super excited about this because it's Chinese mythology, 16th century. A lot of people in Asia know about the Monkey King character and some parts of Europe too, but it's not as well known in America. It's not a game. This is actually a passive experience. It's almost like a movie in 360 where people are immersed in this world, learn about this character and his adventures, and just have a lot of fun watching it.
I could tell you about all of this. But why tell you when I can show you? For I am the Monkey King.
We are building the most accessible social augmented reality platform. So today, we just recently unveiled the Mira Prism headset. And what it allows for consumers to have is the first true augmented reality experience at a fraction of the price of what's been available before. So the entire experience is actually powered off a smartphone that goes into the Mira Prism headset, and it allows you to have a full 3D interactive holographic AR experience. We're going to be announcing one of our partnerships. We've been working alongside the Black Eyed Peas on an incredible piece of content that's all sprung to life out of a physical comic book.
I would have been happy just coming to Comic-Con, having a little booth, and like, yo, check out our book. And it would have been great. And I would have been like, yeah, we did it. But this is beyond anything I would have ever imagined.
En un mundo extremadamente caótico, la realidad virtual puede ser el único refugio posible.
In 2045, there's nowhere left to go. Nowhere except the Oasis.
Holy shit, Steven Spielberg's doing a VR movie. I can't wait to see that.
El director adapta para la gran pantalla Ready Player One, obra de Ernest Cline que se convirtió en un fenómeno mundial.
The whole time I was writing the book, I assumed it could never be a movie because of all the different... I kind of wanted to mash up pop culture and pay tribute to everything in pop culture that I love, and I assumed that it could just never work as a film. But as far as like virtual reality coming about, that's what's amazing to me about this film. This movie is going to expose so many people to the concept of virtual reality that I think it's going to change the speed with which virtual reality is adopted by our civilization. It's really, that's the power of movies.
For me, the thing that really made me want to tell the story more than anything else was the amount, the kind of world that 2045, 44 gives to people, which is so dystopian and so much, people are leaving the country, and all of a sudden virtual reality gives you a choice, gives you another world you can exist in, and you can do anything in that world, anything you possibly could imagine, because there are haptic suits that haven't come on the market yet that give you a kind of feedback that approximates touch, sensuality, and pain. And so that interaction between real life and virtual life by the third act of this movie is almost non-existent. And that in the book is what made me want to jump into the movie.
Otro futuro distópico también se hizo presente.
I had your job once. I was good at it. Things were simpler then.
Harrison Ford, Ryan Gosling y el director Denis Villeneuve presentaron Blade Runner 2049.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I grew up with this movie. When I decided to be a filmmaker, it's part of the birth of that desire, that dream. The movie was there. I couldn't say no, but I didn't say yes spontaneously. It's not an easy task. It was a big challenge.
Bring it to me.
We had a really good script, and based on a really good idea, and the understanding of my character. My character had very strong emotional relationships to other characters in the film, and I felt when I read the script that it had great depth, and it was a fantastic opportunity. I was delighted to be involved.
They know you're here.
It was one of the first films that I'd seen that it wasn't clear how I was supposed to feel when it was over, and it was very hard to distinguish the hero from the villain. It's so surreal because you grow up watching this film. It's such an iconic film. The universe is not isolated to the film itself. It's been borrowed from and inspired so many other movies. It's so expansive, and then to the point where it sort of felt like it then enveloped us, and we were in it and walking around in these incredible locations, and it's really hard to describe that feeling, and it really hasn't quite sunk in yet.
We have to go.
I'm coming with you.
Los fanáticos tuvieron la oportunidad de transportarse directo al universo interior de la película.
This experience that we put together for Comic-Con is a direct replica of one of our featured sets in the film, and we wanted the audience and the fan base to get an experience that was very relatable to what we were shooting on the set. This is a key sequence for Ryan Gosling and his character Kay.
A lot of people worked really, really hard to make this happen. We wanted to give fans here at Comic-Con an immersive multimedia experience. It's a combination of virtual reality and reconstructing a real set, and so we hope people enjoy it.
Go on, it's a crime scene.
For me, when I come into this space, I forget where I am. I forget that I'm in San Diego, and I forget that I'm on a parking lot, because we've done such a great job with our partners at VT Pro to bring this parking lot, completely transform it into something different through sound effects, lighting effects, everything, the actors, so you forget where you actually are. And I just want to hang out in here, and I think we've been seeing that guests don't want to leave because it's such a cool place to be.
Androides e inteligencia artificial en un escenario muy diferente.
Hello, Dolores.
Creadores y anfitriones estuvieron presentes en el panel de Westworld, serie original de HBO.
JJ called us several years ago to say that he'd been thinking about this for a long, long time as a movie, but wanted to know if we thought there was something here as a series. He'd started thinking that there was an opportunity to go a little deeper on these ideas. And one of the things that he said to us in that first conversation was, what if we spend a little time in the perspective of the robots? Because you haven't really quite seen that before. Depending on how you interpret Blade Runner, and this is something we're still arguing about, not a lot of them, spoiler alert, I'm sorry, not a lot of them have been grounded in that perspective. And Lisa and I took that idea and kind of ran a country mile with it. One of my concerns with this show is how many seasons we can do, because the more we think about these questions, the more it feels like your mind is turning inside out. So it might be for the best for us to just, after a little more of this, just all mutually agree to walk away from it. My perception of reality has shifted significantly since we started doing the show. I've concluded we must be in a simulation of some kind.
Do you know where you are?
I'm in a dream.
That's right, Dolores. You're in a dream. Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
Working on the show changed my life in many different ways. And she was such a gift to be given. As women, and I don't know if this is true for men too, but a lot of times you feel like your wings have been clipped. And you're not being represented the way that you want to. And this was just like somebody had given me a fucking condor wings, and I got to take off and fly.
I think there may be something wrong with this world.
The hosts can be sometimes more human than the humans that come to the park. And it generates great empathy from the audience, hopefully, and will continue to, as long as Teddy can stay on his feet and not on the floor dead, oozing blood.
How many times have you died?
It's very specific, even though it's confusing. You know, in a way, it's like Game of Thrones. I mean, you watch Game of Thrones, I don't know everything that's going on in that thing, but I enjoy watching it. Some people really get into the trying to figure it all out, and other people just sit and enjoy watching it, you know, show by show.
You have always been a prisoner. What if I told you I'm here to set you free?
Can we absorb two things for a second?
Yeah.
One, Ed Harris is at Comic-Con. And two, Ed Harris is a Game of Thrones fan.
I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms, and I will. Shall we begin?
Y claro, Game of Thrones no podía quedar fuera.
Game of Thrones and Westworld this year really do have a strong presence and footprint throughout the greater San Diego area. And with that, we're also doing our famous panel in Hall H. 7,000 people will be in attendance as the cast of Game of Thrones and a very special moderator.
Hello, Hall H. This is a very important question. Do you miss me?
No. Yeah, of course I do. No, it's been so empty without you on set this year.
Such a liar.
She's cautious, she trusts no one, whether it be man or woman, whether it's family member or not, she trusts no one, and I think that's important when you play the Game of Thrones.
We still have a wall between us and the Night King. There's nothing between us and Cersei.
You're the military man, but I know her. If you're her enemy, she'll never stop until she's destroyed you.
What I love about Brienne of Tarth is that I don't think that at the foremost of her consciousness is a value system that's based on how men appreciate her. But, I mean, who doesn't like being appreciated as both, really? What do you all think? Does she like it?
It's a bloody woman. HBO, and in particular Game of Thrones, I mean, the Comic-Con community and the fans here are so involved. They really love to be a part and experience the shows themselves, whether it's touching it, whether it's shareable moments, whether it's in the digital, social, tech side of things. So for us, we look at Comic-Con as a really perfect opportunity to integrate the Game of Thrones brand, bring fans into the world, and really give them that opportunity to touch the show in ways they never would have imagined.
It was awesome. I mean, just having the Iron Throne pictures and the game over here, it's definitely a worthwhile experience. I'm glad I waited the 13 hours to come in here.
To see the joy it brings to so many people's faces is amazing, you know?
La cosa está complicada hasta para los dioses.
Now I know what you're thinking. How did this happen? Well, it's a long story.
Thor contó con la ayuda de Hulk y Loki para presentar su tercera película, Ragnarok.
Thor does not have his hammer. He does not have Asgard. What?
Or his hair.
He doesn't have hair that he normally would have.
No. Getting old. Fell out.
Asgard is dead.
Spoke with Taika, spoke with Kevin, and all of us agreed if we're going to make a third Thor, we have to really push the envelope and experiment and take it to another level. So that was what this film was, you know. Cut his hair, break his hammer, change his clothes, change the world, and I think that's what you're going to see and be excited about is something incredibly unique and different for not only the Thor world, but the Marvel universe.
Surprise! This will be such fun. A couple years ago, you came out here in full costume. There was a full production. It was one of the most memorable and incredible moments of Comic-Con.
Say my name! Say my name!
It was a unique experience, and for which I will be eternally grateful to Hall H.
Different Hulk than we've seen. Hulk refuses to turn back into Banner, and he's actually enjoying his time on Sakaar because he is a gladiator champion of the world of Sakaar, and he's starting to be able to, because he's been the Hulk for 2 years now. He has the vocabulary of a 2-year-old. So we have a speaking Hulk.
We're the same, you and I. Just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water.
Oh, kind of both like fire.
But Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
Tell me something. What do you know about Wakanda?
El público del Comic Con ya conoce a Pantera Negra. Ahora llegó el momento de conocer Wakanda.
They looked for it in South America, but it was in Africa the whole time.
The beauty of Wakanda is that it is this place that is the most successful, the most advanced nation on Earth, and it's on the continent. Woo! Stop it. You get me excited right now.
You are a good man with a good heart.
He's returning from the events of Civil War, so you know he's lost his father. So he's just learning how to deal with becoming a new ruler, and he's still mourning, you know, his father's death. So it's a transition period that gets interrupted very quickly.
And it's hard for a good man to be a king.
The best thing about the comic book was that T'Challa was somebody who got his power from the people around him and from his history. You know, and history is something that's incredibly important to me and my family, the people that I grew up with, and I know it's incredibly important to African culture. You know, so that's really the cool thing I'm excited to bring about this.
There's an attack coming from far away.
Not coming, Bruce. It's already here.
Un mal de proporciones catastróficas exige la formación de una liga con los más grandes héroes del planeta.
The king is here.
El Aquaman, Jason Momoa, presentó los detalles de su película
18 months away from Aquaman, and there's a lot of stuff we do want to show you. Unfortunately, I wish I could take this and go, and you guys could see what I've seen.
Y reunió a sus compañeros de equipo para el momento más esperado del año.
Wow, you guys, your energies, we're feeling you.
Yeah!
He said the age of heroes would never come again.
It has to.
I am the luckiest guy in the world. Batman is the coolest fucking part in any universe. DC, Marvel, it's incredible. And, you know, I'm so thrilled to do it. I know there's this misconception because I didn't direct it that maybe I wasn't enthusiastic about it. It's fucking amazing.
What are your superpowers again? I'm rich.
As we know, the DC universe is the first comic universe.
Yeah!
And this league that we are in is the first, unless you count the only one who came before us was the Justice Society of America, which is, of course, us as well.
How many of you are there? Not enough. Do you really think that...
Oh, wow, they really just vanish. Huh? Oh, that's rude.
This character is just so incredible. She stands for everything that is good, for love and for compassion and for truth and justice and peace, and there's nothing not to love about her. And, you know, I can only celebrate this character and be super grateful for the opportunity.
Arthur Curry, the Aquaman.
Organic and biomechatronic body parts. He's a cyborg.
Barry Allen.
Whoever you're looking for, it's not me. You're the Batman?
You know, Aquaman's he's not really accepted on land or in the sea, so he kind of lives in the tides. He's just I guess he's hurt, he's sensitive. And he covers it up. There's a lot of, you know, he's a big onion. I mean, we're just slowly peeling it away.
This is crazy. Honestly, I think we're all gonna die.
Well, with Cyborg and the Flash, you know, they do get their powers as a result of accidents, and I think that bonds them in a very specific way, both through the traumas that they've had, but also due to the fact that they're the youngest members of the group.
Relax, Alfred. I'll take it from here.
Do I know you?
You know, you have all these characters that are dealing with their personal issues who come together and are able to use those circumstances to save the world, which is beautiful. I mean, everybody here has gone through some sort of family or emotional situation, and you know, you find solace in people that are like you, and so they see each other in how they interact. You know, they see each other in their purpose, and you know, it's going to be a hell of a good time.
Excellent.
Don't engage alone. We'll do this together.
It's really cool. You guys seem ready to do battle and stuff, but I've never done battle. I've just pushed some people and run away.
Y la pregunta que flota en el aire fue finalmente hecha.
Where is Superman gonna be in this movie?
You are a very, very
And it's a fair question.
Boy. Yeah, it's a really, really good question.
Son, I'm not sure if your parents showed you the last movie, but Superman's dead.
Oh, wow. That is the, wow.
I hate to break it to you, boy.
No, this
I hate to break it to you, boy, but he's dead. That's your parents' fault.
No.
We can't say much, but you're gonna be, if you're a big fan of Superman, then I'm sure you're gonna be very, very happy to watch Justice.
You see that? That's how you do it.
You can take the one you want, son.
Now let's hope you're not too late.
Si la ficción puede ser muchas veces más agradable que la realidad, ¿por qué entonces no nos zambullimos de cabeza en ella? Héroes, villanos, dioses, magos y monstruos en general nos mostraron una vez más que pueden convivir en armonía en el Comic Con más maravilloso de todo el universo.